You're designing your IT solutions wrong. Can MMT2 teach you the right way to do it? Hi, I'm Terry, and this is the 6th video in my series documenting my journey to get an MBA in IT management for Western Governors University. A link to the playlist is both above and below. So let's get into it. This video is on MMT2 Strategic IT Solutions. Yeah, it took me a few times to get that one right. And is roughly your halfway point in their curriculum. This course is very concise. All of the readings they have to do, whether it's a chapter from a specific book or an article, they are very geared to the specific competency that it's trying to teach about. This is a very welcome change over the drowning of information that you are in the marketing course. Videos down below.
Let's leave the made-up stuff to marketing.
I've been designing IT solutions for the last 15 years of my 20-year IT career. So let's go talk about how this course lines up for getting an MBA, which is one goal. Obviously, we want to complete the course, but then let's also talk about how this translates into the real world and how usable it is after you're done with your degree. This course has 3 tasks that you have to complete to pass it. Each task builds off of the previous task, and you actually have to include the section of the previous task in the submission. So there's no going out of order, and you really can't get too far ahead of it because you need to actually have the signed off past previous version to work off of. Task 1, this is the groundwork for all 3 tasks. You basically either take a real world example, which if you're doing that, you have to disclose it. I'll get to that in a moment. Or you're making up a fake company and a fake problem, and then you're solving it. On the sheet itself, they have a list of organizational problems and possible solutions. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, do cybersecurity, because that's the easiest one for any IT initiative, but do what you want. And then you just fill it out. You get the background on the company, you get the high level 50,000 foot view of your project plan. And then you get to the signature part. The signature part is the confusing part when you read the document, the portal, all the above. So you have a Word document, and this is what they told me to do. Sorry to jump around a bit here. So when I asked them about it, because it's pretty convoluted, essentially take a piece of paper or your phone, write your signature, scan it in as a photo. Then in Word, when you're filling out their form, you just take your signature as a picture and insert it into the Word document. Then you send that Word document to the instructor group for them to approve it, and then they will sign it and send you back a PDF. All right, you got half the paperwork for this task. The second half is that disclosure form that I mentioned. There's a disclosure form where you have to either, air quote, legally sign that you are making up a scenario and there's no real world information there, no business or company data, or you go to a second section of it where you are admitting this is company data and you go through the process to get it validated and approved by the company. This is another similar one. Either you can print out the form, sign it, scan it back in, or use your little photo, export as a PDF. At the end, you need 2 PDF documents with all the signatures in the portal to be submitted. Very confusing for no apparent reason. Not gonna lie, I did have the sarcastic thought in the back of my head that a project could be streamlining this process, since I know they use Office 365 would be rather easy. But as you go through task 2 and 3, that project's a little too narrow to accomplish this course's goals. Moving on to task 2, you have to complete a SWOT analysis and a gap analysis on your fake company and fake scenario. And then you get to go and pitch your solution on how to fix the problem you created, technically. Make it sound plausible. I'm just joking around to make this entertaining here. But this is not a technical paper. This is, again, a kind of director level, 50,000 foot view. Just for example here, let's just say, company A still uses password-based authentication for everything. This is bad for X, Y, or Z reasons. And if you want to feel extra spicy in this one, you could mix in company A is a part of this industry, whatever it is, and now because of this, they are violating these regulations. We are going to solve company A's problem with passwordless authentication from company B. It's that level type of thing. Obviously, you're going to need more points than I just laid out there to complete the whole paper, but in a nutshell, that's what it is. Granted, if you have the technical knowledge to be able to deploy this, or you've done it, or if you've done it multiple times in a consulting point of view, then this is just literally just brain dump it onto paper and turn it in. But before you do that, you also need to include a copy of the signed topic form from task 1 with your submission. Seems counterproductive. If task 1's already passed, it should already be there, but whatever. Moving on to task 3. Three? There's three of them there. I almost did two. Three. Moving on to task 3. All right, let's knock out this final paper to call this project done for you, or this class done for you. Task 3, you start by grabbing your solution pitch from task 2, slapping it in as the first thing in this paper. Then you expand upon it to timelines, milestones, who needs to be involved, everything like that. So you actually start scoping this idea into a project management light format. After you have your plan created, you move on to developing a communication plan. You have to identify 3 stakeholders, a combination of both internal and external stakeholders, and just give the who, what, when, where, and why. End users need project updates because their workflows are changing. It's going to be emails, surveys, whatever. You work down your list on just realistic company project stakeholders and move forward. After you figure out who you're going to talk to during this project, you have to come up with what they call change management. I more associate this with risk management, potato. You come up with 2 ethical risks, 2 security risks, and then also fill out your plan on how you're going to mitigate that risk if they're going to happen. The ethical risks are basically, users don't like change, or maybe a concern about privacy, stuff like that, and how you're going to combat that. The security stuff is if your solution breaks, if someone circumvents it, all those lines there. You just document your backup plans and your mitigation strategies in this section. Then the last section of this paper is how will this project be determined a success? I've emphasized the word fake here a few times, but yeah, your fake scenario needs to be successful, which also means you can make some things a little bit easier, like your fake company has a perfect ticketing system that you can use for metrics to gauge if your ticket count on the problem goes down, or customer service, all the things that sometimes might be difficult to set up or keep functioning at a high level. And in these fake scenarios, they're perfect. They can be easily reliable. So again, just lean in that one. Just come up with some metrics on how it would be successful, corresponded to standard technology, and your paper will be good to go. Those are your 3 tasks that you got to complete to finish this course and move on to get the degree. Now the question is, how valuable is this in the real world after you have that degree? And in my opinion, a course like this is actually very valuable, and here's why. If you're already technically minded and you're just trying to move up into leadership so you can get out of some of those late nights, or whatever the case may be, finding a problem and fixing it, in my opinion, is usually, in most cases, exponentially easier than, hey, I want to implement this solution to make our lives better. It's going to cost $2 million. I need approval from the C-levels. I need funding from accounting. I need a timeline. I need extra resources. Being able to package all that stuff together and present it is not taught from just engineer work experience. It's not taught in the CCNA or any Microsoft certification, A+, Net+. It's not taught anywhere. So having a course like this where you can take the technical problem, translate it into businessese, and present it is very valuable, and a lot of people miss the mark on that one. Taking it also a step further, I think they did miss an opportunity here. That last task could have a PowerPoint part.
No! God, please, no! No!
I don't say that because I enjoy making PowerPoints, because I don't. But again, going back to my real world experience, which is Midwest business experience for the last 20 years, could just be me on this one, but I think a lot of people are going to fall in line with this one. If you're used to either requesting projects like this from internal capacity, or if you're in consulting or solution design, selling solutions, me personally, there hasn't been a request that has been $50,000 or more where I didn't have to make a corresponding PowerPoint to present at some board or ownership meeting to get the funding to do it. Again, it could just be 100% me, but I've covered everything from small business to large business, different industries. And just for me, that $50,000 mark, it required some face time with leadership, and that in turn meant crashing some board meeting with a PowerPoint. And it was just a requirement as a process. Obviously, it's not every company, every case. Some cases, people hate PowerPoints, but being able to create a professional PowerPoint when you're asking for 100,000, 200,000, a million or more, it's a relatively low ask to get a lot of money. That's one thing where I feel like they could have snuck that in. As a current student, we all got this email saying a handful, probably a dozen or plus courses are being updated in August. This course was on that list. I don't expect giant changes, but who knows? Maybe they'll sneak in a different metric here to make a presentation for it. To land the plane on this, yes, this course is valuable because it teaches something that does not come naturally from other technical resources. Because this is an MBA in IT management, I'm assuming the target audience of this video specifically is someone like me who is on the technical side looking to move into leadership. I have dozens of certifications and I've been doing this for a long time. None of those certs teach you how to formally ask for money. So that comes to work experience, and that's then 100% dependent upon how formal of an environment you are in. And then you have to build from that as you job hop. But if you're in a pretty informal place, some of these things could be a just lunch hour. Oh, by the way, I need $50,000 for this thing. That does not translate into a Fortune 500 company by any stretch of the imagination. So to put together a course to logically walk your way through on how you find a problem and then create a case to ask for the money to be able to execute it, that is a very good thing. That is something that you don't normally get exposure to unless you have to do it. So I'm on board with that one 100%. Honestly, the course should just be renamed to MMT2, How to Ask for Money. That's what it should be called, because that's really, really what it is. The technical piece is secondary, but it's how do you formally make your case to ask for money. With that all being said, thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider sharing it with a friend. If you're a WGU student, leave me a comment down below. Tell me how your experience is going. If you want to follow me in this endeavor to get an MBA from WGU, go click that subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified the next time I finish a course or I build something new. Until next time, bye now.